The Hawaii short-term rentals are a hot topic here in Hawaii right now at the state levels. Bill 121, 122, and 123 are currently in the Planning Commission, and they seek to restrict the amount of short-term rental vacations in residential areas and definitely impose higher taxes and fees on STVRs. These new regulations will possibly run many STVRs out of business completely, and they can definitely negatively impact the way people are currently traveling to the island. If you are considering buying property that has an STVR permit here in the island, under the current regulation, you can continue to operate as usual. Just keep in mind that this permit is not granted in perpetuity. We as a community are under the impression that the county is trying to even out the field with affordable housing. But the bottleneck at the moment is our interest rates that are still on the higher end. So the message that we're getting from council members on this topic is really complicated to understand. Say residential STVRs are banned, then the homes will open for local residents and people who are relocating to the islands. The questions that are lingering in our minds is, are these homes affordable to our local families in this current market? The annual average salary for someone living on the island is $40,558. That is earning an average of $19 an hour. The median average for a price here in Kailua Kona, it's a little bit under $1 million. So to put all of this into very simple terms, if you carry a 30-year mortgage of $1 million, and if you were to put down 10%, which will be $100,000, you may be looking at an $8,000 mortgage. That is $96,000 a year on mortgage, taxes, and insurance alone. How is this affordable to our local families? After you have digested this information, you can clearly see that eradicating STVRs is not the solution for affordable homes. The solution will be for a county to work on streamlining the permitting process and create plans around local families to actually build affordable housing here on the islands. The issues with our permitting process on a state level, where it usually takes 2 years to get a building permit, is insanity. To put it in very simple terms, it took us 1.5 years to get our photovoltaic permit to install solar panels in our home. So now imagine if you were to want to build an ohana in your property. People who are against this bill propose very critical opposing views that are very clear to understand. It is estimated that we have more than 4,500 properties on the island that operate as hosted STVR. These properties are owned by local families that open up their doors of their home to welcome vacationers. These residents are the ones being targeted by this legislation, and it is estimated that the short-term vacation rental industry employs 49,000 people here in Hawaii, and the average wage paid to locals, it's around $40 an hour. That is twice as what someone can make in a hotel or somewhere else. We generate close to $4.8 billion in visitor expenditures, and every year these operations generate more than $720 million in tax revenue. With these numbers, you can see why the vacation rental industry is a huge part of the Hawaii economy, but it is very important to note that most of these vacation rental owners only have one vacation rental on average, and most of these operations are owned by kapuna, by people that are in retirement age, so this is their main source of income. When Bill 121 was introduced to County Council, very recently, there was an overwhelming opposition. Most of these residents are older and are fully dependent on this income, and it is also important to keep in mind that we live in one of the most expensive spaces in the United States. If this bill passes, it will also aim to ban vacation rentals on agricultural land, and they're also heavily restricting running vacation rentals in Lava Zone number 1 and 2. Now, that dreamy vacation that you had in Volcano may not happen again because there's a lot of structures that are unpermitted, and they also happen to be in Lava Zone number 2 or Lava Zone number 1 in some cases. This bill is definitely targeting that. They are also targeting heavily on properties that are unpermitted, and under the proposed legislation, if the home has unpermitted work, that space cannot be rented. If you're unfamiliar with Hawaii, many of the properties on the island deal with unpermitted improvements. Why? is because we have a long lead time for permitting. It will be near impossible for these structures to be rebuilt up to code. So what can people do? Opposing views are saying, well, hey, most of these hotels are owned by corporations like the Hyatt, the Marriott, the Hilton, and these corporations have been operating on the islands for the longest time. Why are these corporations not targeted? Nobody knows, and we don't have clear answers. If we analyze, hotels cannot build more hotels in Hawaii. With the lead time on permitting in Hawaii and what it entails to build even the smallest house, it is next to impossible for these corporations to build new structures. A way for them to generate more revenue is by eradicating STVRs completely to increase their occupancy and therefore increase their nightly rate. In essence, eradicating STVR will certainly benefit the hotel industry. It is very important to note that the money that visitors are spending in local hosted vacation rentals is money that stays with the families. These families are able to buy groceries for the local visitors and they feed the vacationers. They hire local cleaners and handymans, and they pay taxes to fuel our local economy. In essence, vacation rentals are a huge part of the economy in Hawaii, and they offer another way of travelers to vacation the islands. These visitors may want a room with spacious living room area, and they may want the privacy. They may want to have a kitchen in their own place and feel like they're in a home away from home. So the way this is going, if these laws continue to target these operations, we may lose those vacationers forever. If you want to voice your opinion, I invite you to write to our county and raise your voice. I will be linking the information below this video so that you can get all the information that is needed in order for you to address your concerns and write to our local council members. If you're interested in watching more information about Hawaii real estate and relocation, feel free to click this video to watch more. Aloha!